All right. Hello, hello, hello. This is the 101st, what yeah, 101st episode of the Mental Threats podcast. I am here with a very special guest.
I'm Ghost, though.
Kind of in a way, yeah. Special guest and Mrs. SinClair. Is it Courtney?
It is
Courtney SinClair.
That's right.
Yeah. Courtney SinClair. Yes, my old English teacher from high school. She'd like to say something.
Hi, it's Courtney with a K.
Yes.
And I used to say that I was the original, but then I found out that Kardashian is like 3 or 4 years older than me.
Oh.
I did not know she existed, though, so I still think I'm the original Courtney with a K.
You're the original Courtney SinClair. That's good enough.
That's true. That is true. I am the original of that for sure.
And then what did Ziggy call you growing up? It was Mama English?
Yes, in high school, I was Mama English for your English class. There was multiple of you boys that called me that.
Yeah, it was mostly Ziggy though. I think I just caught on afterward because you know as a teacher and everything, you kind of transcended past the whole teaching side. You seem to come across as more like like a friend, like a really like cool type of teacher. I feel like everybody just loved your class and everything. Like, well, what do you think is the secret behind that?
That is a good question. I think that it's really important to foster relationship with your students, to care about them, be interested in what they're interested in. I mean, I can see the ridiculousness of TikTok, but I can still appreciate the language and use the hashtags and use, and anytime you can throw that kind of stuff in is a huge help, creating activities and things that just show that the kids that you care and you know them well enough to actually meet them on that level, I think is really important.
Yeah, because like the whole Queen's Grad experience was kind of hit and miss for a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of the hits kind of stretch from like some of the few good teachers and everything. I know one of the teachers I enjoyed besides you was Mr. Carr. Love Mr. Carr. He was cool. I know he was like everyone. I thought Mr. Carr was cool. Mr. Garcia was cool. I thought Mr. Garcia was a nice teacher, and Miss Frederick. I know you're BFFs and everything. And Miss Mills I feel like Miss Mills is more appreciated after high school. Cause I know people get up like, oh, she keeps writing me up for being late, and I was like a second late. But as I got older, like it's better to just be early. Like especially like being early is so, because even for like your superiors, supervisors or whatever, it looks like you actually care and everything. So shout out Miss Mills and everything. I know back then it was kind of rough with the whole like sign up thing, but we do appreciate. I do. I'm just speaking for myself. I appreciate you and what you taught us and everything, especially the lesson of being early and stuff of that nature. So it's just like in regards to I think the first time I met you, I think it was at one of the talent show auditions. I think in my freshman year high school. Like, can you explain like your experience with that? Like, the cashier licking on me, no problem with that. Your experience like being like, what led you into that role and stuff of that nature?
Well, partly what led me into that role of watching the talent shows and kind of picking who got to perform based on how, and it wasn't even 100% like what they did. It was how prepared were they, and did we feel like they could do it in front of the whole school? I mean, doing it in front of 3 teachers is hard enough, but then doing it in front of an entire crowd of your peers, that's a whole other thing entirely. I really did it just because I think at that point it was Miss Thurman who was running it, and she asked me if I would, and I enjoy drama, I enjoy acting, I enjoy that kind of thing, music, dance, all the things my students had just amazing talents in. So it was kind of fun to be able to watch that and not judge it per se, but say like, yeah, I feel like this person is not only talented, but also has the presence and the ability to stand in front of a crowd, because, as a teacher, that's something you have to be able to do. And so it's kind of something that you can, notice and recognize in other people. I mean, my mom raised me to be in front of crowds since I was very little. I mean, even in the house, like even growing up, she would have us, we were the entertainment. So she would have her friends over, and then we would perform poems, or we'd play the piano, or we would choreograph dances, or we would put on, we used to make paper bag puppet shows, and anything to like entertain the guests. So I got used to performing in front of people very quickly. And I feel like that's something that when you have experience in that, you can recognize where people are going to be able to succeed in that. I also do want to hit back on one thing you said. I thought it was very interesting, the teachers that you listed as your favorite teachers. And I would think that there's probably several people who would say that they were their favorite teachers. are very structured people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the classroom was structured. You knew it was coming. You knew the expectations. There was no guessing or surprise as far as like, oh, well, I did the work. I don't understand why I got this grade. For the most part, I'd be like, no, yeah, I totally know why I got this grade. And and coming into the room and being like, there's an established set of rules, an established pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I feel is maybe not as appreciated as it should be. This idea that yes, I want to be able to be free and be myself as a person, but it's good to be able to do that within boundaries,
Yeah, sure. And also it's just like, even though they're like in their own like ways and stuff, everybody have their own personalities and stuff, you can actually tell that they have like a dedication to actually nurturing and structuring minds.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like that's very, very crucial in terms of like when it comes to teachers. I feel like y'all get a whole lot of flack. I don't think you get as much appreciation as how much you really structure society going forward, because like we're gonna grow up to be like the doctors, the whatever, the educators ourselves. So it's just like, we spend more time around y'all than our own parents throughout the day. So it's just like to know that it's just like, okay, it's not just your parents. There's other people out there that kind of drop little seeds here and there and like try to encourage you in some way or another. Whatever you do with that after high school is kind of on you. It's kind of crazy how time kind of goes by. I feel like out of my group of friends, I think I'm one of the few people that even got a degree, which is like insane to me when you look back. It's like, but at the same time, it's not a matter of like separation or isolation or whatever, but you just kind of go your own way and you're kind of led by like your own purposes. And like, what do you say is like, what kind of drives you to kind of be a teacher? Do you currently still teach right now?
I'm not currently teaching. I was teaching until middle of last year, and it was I was at a small school, which I loved the school. I loved my students, but there were some kind of I guess you would say theological differences that I had with the administration and with the parents. And so, we kind of mutually agreed that it was probably time for me to take a break and step back and resign. And so I did. And I've just kind of, wanted to take some time to recover from that. I mean, teaching is such a beautifully torturous job where you just invest so much of yourself emotionally and mentally. So I think that I'm working from home right now. I'm just kind of doing some data entry, working for iHeartRadio, which I love. It's great work, great people, great team. Huge fan of everybody I work with. And so I'm also kind of refocusing, being like, okay, what do I want to do moving forward? Education is kind of a hot mess, I would say right now. And it's getting harder and harder, I think, for a person, trying to think how I want to say this.
Probably hard to kind of like get the whole, I don't want to say notes, but try to get invested in trying to set the growth factor for a lot of your students.
No, for me, it's more, I am a passionate follower of Jesus. Okay. And there's a lot of things that are being kind of done in the classroom or encouraged in the classroom or discouraged in the classroom that make it kind of a harder line for me to walk, I guess is what I would say.
I see, a harder line. And you kind of feel like it might be a reflection of society or whatever, or is it just like a reflection of just...
I think it's a reflection of everyone's need for Christ. And, there's just things that I don't think I'd be able to budge on. And I think that I still would care about kids and I still care about education and learning, but maybe I just need to find a different way to engage in that in another area. Okay. I don't know. I'm not necessarily 100% done with teaching, but I'm done with it for right now.
Right now. Would you consider probably teaching at a Catholic school or something like that? Or is it just not like,
No, I think I'll just take a break.
Just take a break. But maybe in the future is what I mean.
Yeah. Maybe in the future it'd be nice to get back into the classroom. I really love teaching. I love curriculum design. I love making lessons. I love reading a book and uncovering like nuggets in it and then helping my students also uncover those nuggets and what's valuable. So
Yeah. I think one book I should never forget, because I know there were several books I read in your class. I know one of them was The Crucible. Yes. And was it The Great Gatsby? I think was the second one.
Yes.
And I think was it Mice of Men that did we do Mice of Men?
Not with me, but you would have done of Mice and Men potentially with another teacher.
Potentially another teacher.
So.
Were there any other books I'm forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting. I know it's been so long. It was like 2015. It's now 2022. It's like that's a big gap in time.
7 years. We did. And it varied from year to year too. Yeah, we did Fahrenheit 451.
Not sure if I remember that one.
The one where all the books were being burned and the firefighters were starting fires instead of putting them out.
I still can't remember, but
that's
definitely
okay.
The Crucible and The Great Gatsby, two main books. For sure.
Yes, and we read The Tempest by Shakespeare.
Okay, yeah, The Tempest.
I think your class was the same class as Kaylee Chambers and Derek Hill. And
no, I don't think we were in Derek. I know Derek Hill, but we weren't in the same. We weren't in the same grade. Yeah, you're apart. Yeah, okay. He was a year above me. I think. Didn't he date Kayla Chambers or something?
Yes, like randomly. I didn't follow a ton of those relationships, but that was one I knew about. But only reason I thought about it is because I cast him as Gonzalo in The Tempest, and then a few years ago I went to see him when he performed in The Tempest as Brevard, and he got cast as Gonzalo. So it was kind of fun to go and see him in college performing the role that I had assigned him his 10th grade year. So that was kind of fun.
Sure. Shout out Derek. I think I went to middle school with him, so it's just like really? So I was like, I found him in high school together, but I know he was a year above me. I know that for a fact. Yeah, and everything. Who was in my class? I know Justin Lindsay was in my class. Okay. It kind of helps. Justin Lindsay, Taylor Huntley. I know I got his number from you. And who else? I know Nautica Cole. Who else?
Oh my goodness. Some of these names. I haven't thought about these kids in so long. That's so sad in a way.
No, it's not. Life just goes on. I know they remember you, but it's just like, okay, I know. Was Aaliyah in my class? Yeah, Aaliyah was in my class, I recall. I'm trying to remember because it's just like...
I should go upstairs and get my yearbooks.
That probably might help, but it's just like, I feel like I'm like Assassin's Creeding it in a way because I'm stuck in the animus. I'm just like, okay, she was there, he was there, and everything. But that's all I can remember off the top of my head. Like, forgive me if I forgot anybody else in that class in particular. But yeah, it's just like, before I even got into your class, I'm like, I hope I'm in her class. So, and then I actually got into your class, and I'm like, look, two teachers I really was you and like Mr. Schwarzlander. Didn't get in Mr. Schwarzlander's class, definitely got into your class. How do you feel about the transition between Dr. Smith being the principal and then transitioning to him being the principal?
Well, I don't have a ton of experience of him as principal because I didn't teach under him. I do know that that he is well spoken of, that all the teachers I still currently interact with all love him as an administrator, but we all love Dr. Smith. It's just different. Everyone focuses on different things. So, where Dr. Smith focused on, more keeping the regimen and the schedule and the rules and things that are a little bit more formatted. I know Josh he still has those things, but he's really more passionate about expanding the student body and being able to build the gym and create a community on campus in a way that, maybe wasn't as focused on. But I think that they were both good, as far as I know, were good administrators in different ways.
Oh, cool. That's nice. It's very, very cool and everything. And it's just like, from your experience, because what years did you start for teaching for Queen's Grant, and what years did you stop?
I came in January of 2012. And then I stopped in, I think I taught there through 2015. And I stopped the May of 2015, I think. I would have to double check. I had a car accident in 2016, I believe, and that was
recovered from the wheelchair. I noticed that. I was like, what? She's not in the wheelchair. That's a good thing.
Yes, I was in the wheelchair for about 6-7 months. I couldn't walk, so I was bedridden actually for 2.5 months, and then I was in the wheelchair and on a walker for a little while. At
my graduation, you were still in that wheelchair. I'm like, oh man, I thought you had a disease. Like, oh snap, what, you gotta be in there forever? Like, oh man. Yeah,
and I remember coming to prom. I helped Mr. SinClair chaperone the prom that year, and I was in the wheelchair. And then we did the graduation, but that was his last year too. Actually, I think he stopped teaching after.
Oh, so 2016 was his last year teaching.
I think so. It might have been. well, maybe not. No, because he came in 2011 and he stayed for 6 years. So it might have been 2017. He was really adamant that he did not want to be a person who quit in the first 5 years of teaching, because there's actually I don't know the statistic exactly, but there's kind of like a statistic. There's a high number of people will quit after 5 years of teaching within that 5-year mark. And he was like, well, it won't be me.
Okay, that's really good. It's crazy how we wait till this point to actually bring up Miss SinClair. Because he's the reason why you're not called Miss Van Dusen anymore.
That's true. I was Miss B originally. That's true. Yeah.
And everything. And y'all met at Queen's Grand and everything.
We did. We joke that we met in high school, but we were the teachers. So, but when people are like, oh, when did you meet? We're like, we met in high school. Like, really? I was like, yeah, I mean, teaching. But yeah.
That's very, very fun. Well, that's good that they actually showcase that, you know, your passions do lead you to like some of your closest relationship, whether it be friends or even, you know, lovers in that case.
That's
your
true.
Lovers and everything. What really brought y'all together? Was it like a shared interest in like teaching? Did y'all like share a favorite book, or like what started?
Oh my. So I would say that I knew Mr. SinClair was the one for me way sooner than he did. It took him about 6 months to catch up. And honestly, when there's a certain age you get to, you really know yourself and you know kind of where your weak points are and where your strong points are. And you're going to look for a partner that can be used to maybe, I would say, develop and sanctify is the word I would use, although that's a very religious word. That they kind of come and they rub against the parts of you that are weak and help you reform and rework those through your marriage and through Christ, the working together, the three of you kind of working on your weak areas. And I think that not meeting him until I was 28, I think was kind of a really important thing. It's kind of funny. I'd had kind of, I would say, two major, like I was in love. I never had a serious relationship, but I had two very serious, I fell in love, unrequited love is what you call it, where I fell in love with them and they did not love me back.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine now. It's good now to turn around and like see it from the ripe old age of 38. But to really... I kind of didn't want a relationship at that point. I was like, okay, I can't handle another heartbreak. Like, I'll just, I'm finally getting into teaching. I had wanted to teach since I was in junior high, and it just was a very roundabout way to get there. So, I'm finally teaching. I'll just pour my life into my students and into the school and, give 110% of me in that way. And then I won't have time to have my heart broken. And actually, for the first several months, I've told him this, but I actually was praying against Tyler. I was actually praying that I would not like him because he did not seem to like me back. And I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. I was like, Lord, I have a very fragile heart and I can't do it. And we were, we just kind of kept getting thrown together in things. We really enjoy each other's company. He makes me laugh. He's just funny. He's just we're both so quirky. So it's fun to find someone who is same but different kind of quirky as you. And to really find a person that can both appreciate the parts of you that make you unique and help you work on the parts of you that make you difficult to be around.
Yeah, sure. That's very beautiful and everything. And the final place like Queen's Grand and everything, it's just like, because it's such like a humble place and everything. My mom first thought about like sending me to this high school. I'm like, I'm not okay. Like, cause I was leaving like such a really crazy situation, like in middle school and everything. Long story short, I was bullied, but it wasn't really in the sense where it was just like a whole like, oh, shove them in the lockers type stuff. It was like more of like a psychological, like with rumors type. It was like weird, and they get a lot of that in the social media age and everything. And it was just like, trying to find a place where I can kind of grow and everything of that nature. And like for the first year, pretty good. And then it got a little bit hectic at certain years and everything, weird. But in the aftermath of it all and everything, you kind of learn to just kind of grow past situations like that. Yeah. So it's like, it's good that at least you found some positive. One of my main positives from Queen's Grand is like, I have like lifelong friends now in a sense, but you don't really realize it until like you look back. Like, I even did an episode with Chase Elswick like I did an episode with Taylor Huntley and everything. I did an episode with Ziggy too, like in the past episode. So it's just like, there's a bunch of episodes to get into, and I interview a lot of other artists also. So it's just like, this whole podcast situation was on a vision board, and so like to even like make it like as part of my life now and everything, it's also a beautiful thing. But it's just like, I always have that faith instilled in me that it's just like your passions are going to lead you to the right people, and I feel like this is kind of leading me to the right people all the time. So it's just like, nothing happens by accident. Everything is just, everything happens for a reason. So it's like, it's good. Maybe those first two heartbreaks would lead you to the right ones. Like it was a third one's charm.
Third time's a charm, as the fairy tales say, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And since then, everything's just been all just awesome and everything. It's been up and down. You ain't gotta go into detail. I mean,
every marriage has its rocks. But the most important thing I think is knowing from the beginning that you're going to choose that person every single day. And for us, marriage is a very integral part of our belief system. We really believe that marriage was created by God, and it is meant to picture the Jesus Christ and his church, his bride, and that we are meant to be in this marriage until we die. I mean, when we walked the aisle, we signed the marriage license. We also signed what's called a covenant.
Okay, covenant.
Where we so our marriage is a covenantal marriage, and it actually puts some pretty specific religious and legal parameters in place where if we were to choose to try to pursue divorce, we actually would have to have a panel of pastors. We would have to agree to counseling for a certain amount of time to try and work through issues. We would have to have a panel of pastors agree that that our divorce is necessary or that we need to divorce. And honestly, like even if that was to happen, I don't necessarily know that I would remarry. I think that it's pretty clear, at least as far as I'm reading, that and I'm not saying that people who get divorced. There are plenty of reasons to get divorced. Physical abuse, mental and verbal abuse. If it's a dangerous situation, even sometimes, unfaithfulness in marriage, I know, can be used. But I also think that there's a certain amount of I'm not speaking from experience in this, so I might sound arrogant or I might sound unintelligent or uninformed, but I feel like I probably would, if I was to get divorced, if Mr. SinClair was to cheat on me, which it will not happen, it just won't, because we just won't. I can't even imagine either of us causing each other that kind of pain. But if that was to happen, I don't think I would get remarried. I think I would pour myself into spending that time praying that God would revolutionize Tyler and redeem Tyler and repair Tyler, or vice versa. I would hope that he would spend the time, if it was me that had stepped out on him and we had gotten divorced, that we would really focus on remembering that God is bigger than a situation and God can change anyone. If they're truly a believer in Christ, God can change them. And
As the older I get, because I sort of like, as a child, I always thought like, the relationship with you have as like a child to God is like, it's so like pure and everything. And it's crazy how they do mention that you have to have like a certain relationship like that of a child with like God. They have to believe like God is just bigger than just anything, and which is the truth. Which really is the truth. I feel like there were points in my life where I just kind of strayed away, and where I feel like I had to kind of like roll myself back into to a certain degree, because it's just like. I'm actually building the habit now. I'm starting to get back in the church more often. It's just like the same Hickory Grove Baptist Church, the one that they usually, that's the one I just went to Sunday school like the other day and everything.
That's awesome.
They literally on my own. I swear it's just me. Like every time, I don't know what my brother's doing or what my mom's doing. It's like I guess like she'd be kind of worked out, so it's just like she'd be kind of tired. But I try to take the due diligence to kind of step out because like literally I once prayed to one of the pastors, Pastor Matt. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. Probably you don't go to the Hickory Grove Church, do you? Okay, that's fine. No, nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I prayed with Pastor Matt in regards because like my grandmother fell really, really ill and everything. She's gladly getting better. I need to really call my uncle to see how everything's getting better with her now. But because I prayed with him and everything, like she slowly after that, she just kind of got better. I don't want to say it's like because I prayed, because I'm okay, it was just me and everything. But I feel like sometimes, like through prayer, I feel like a lot of things can change, and it's just like there was once a point like after high school and everything, I had to transition through like community college. I fell out with a lot of people and everything. I had to distance myself from a lot of people who I thought my friends and they weren't my friends. And it's just led to situations that's led to like a lot of just turmoil. And it's just like, I had to pray and everything. Like, oh, you just got to give me a direction. Where can I go? And then I had to separate myself, and I went enroll in Cabarrus, a community college. I went there, and I was doing pretty well over there. I was able to transfer to North Carolina Central University, and then I graduated cum laude out of the School of Business. So
congratulations! It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Anything's very, very possible. So it's just like, like with my relationship with God, I just feel like, I feel like I see every situation. It's just like, not everything. You're not going to find the answers automatically, but, as long as you take the lessons going forward and everything, whether it be a loss of a friend, going on, and just the ending of a relationship, you start to just think in gratitude every step of the way. Things might not go the way you want them to go, but at this end of the day, it's all in His plan, and whatever it goes, whatever He allows, He's gonna allow. Whatever He doesn't allow, He's just not gonna allow it. And that's just, you got to keep that sensibility in mind. Oh my gosh, who is calling right now? No, it better not be. Who is calling? Not right now. I don't know. No one in Los Angeles. They're gonna have to leave a message.
Are you sure we're still recording? Sometimes the phone calls end up interrupting when I'm recording for the paper.
Oh no, I'm sure we're still on. Yeah, see you. We're still on.
Oh, okay. Sometimes mine stops recording when the phone call. Like if I'm interviewing somebody for the paper and then the phone call comes in, sometimes it'll stop my recording.
Oh, you be interviewing people for papers too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I write for the Mint Hill Times occasionally.
Oh, okay. I didn't think anybody still like look at a newspaper anymore. So like did you just be on the internet or something like that?
It's both. Yeah, it's a free paper that's printed and distributed around Mint Hill in little green containers. You can find them. But it also, it's an online. You can have articles online too. Oh,
and you do that and the Mint Hill and the iHeartRadio stuff and everything?
Yeah. Every day I'm hustling.
Every day she's hustling. That's such a weird tandem from that time. Like, it's just like, it's like she got a little bit of bronchitis, y'all. It's okay.
Sorry. I'm going to try not to cough into the microphone.
It is all.
Otherwise, you'll have to sterilize it for your next interview.
Oh no, it'll be fine. On God's plan. Anyway, but anyway, back on the whole iHeartRadio. I know we had to transition from like a whole lot so quickly, but like on the whole iHeartRadio situation, just wondering if there was any chance that maybe there was any openings for a job, maybe a radio personality, for any chance.
Hilarious. Well, I don't actually work with the DJ side too much. You can go to iHeartMedia Careers and see what's available. Okay. I'm working more in the sales in the backside. So sales people will go out and sell the commercial spots, and then they send me the order and I put it in and actually work with the traffic to schedule commercials and schedule airtime and schedule DJ plugs and schedule those kinds of things. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking for jobs for like a hot minute. I actually found a new job actually, because I was working for a home care agency as their marketing executive and everything of that nature. It was a Black-owned home care agency out in Sugar Creek area and everything. And it was cool for the first 4 weeks. I innovated using Microsoft Excel. They redistribute or reorganize their information they already had on hard copies and just putting it as a mailing list or the client list or the patient list and stuff of that nature. So I did that just for the 4 weeks I was there. And I was using Google Forms to see if we can probably use that link to send it out for referrals and everything. Right. So we pretty much locked down all the basic information, height, race, any past medical conditions or family medical condition, stuff like that, all the basic stuff. And then like all the phone stuff would be like Medicare and Social Security type stuff, for the DMAs and stuff. So I was managed to do this for 4 weeks, and I had to leave that place due to like, some discrepancies in terms of the dress code. Truth be told, I like wearing suits. And they didn't for the first 4 weeks they were cool with it, but then like she took me like to Goodwill and everything to like get me new clothes, and they were like really, really tight clothing, and she said I couldn't wear anything but stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't think this is a job for me anymore.
odd.
Very, very. Yeah, everyone says it's odd. Like, everyone I tell the story is like, okay, I know. I had to know I'm not the odd one because I'm like, is this how businesses are ran? I don't know.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah, but now I'm gonna be working for Novant Health as their customer care support. I forget what the title of the thing is, but it's a job. I need a job. Please hire me. But sooner or later, I want to work up to being a marketing coordinator for Novant. So it's just like,
That's great. That's
very,
great.
very, very cool stuff. But if we had to get back on the subject matter of teaching as a whole, because I know we spoke a little bit about like your experiences as being like a judge for the whole what you call talent show. Yeah, talent show. And it's like, well, from the experience of like the talent show, like what experiences that you hold as like, you know, golden that you can just remember, like, you know, remember any
from QG?
Yeah, not from QG in general, from the talent show side of the thing. But what were some moments in the talent show that you cherish or that you remember?
I remember Ziggy's rap.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember, this is not related to the talent show, but I will tease Ziggy here. I remember having a picture from the talent show that I had to put in the yearbook, and he was flipping the bird, and I had to get Ben Troner to use Photoshop to duplicate his finger and make it look like he was flying peace signs because he was flipping the bird in the picture, and I couldn't use it. Was a great picture of the whole group behind the scenes, but I couldn't use it because so we copied his finger and gave him 2 fingers. It's in the yearbook. Anybody who has their yearbook, you can go look. That is a Photoshopped second finger on Ziggy's hand that year at the talent show. I remember Victoria singing Let It Go. Oh, okay. And I remember, the reason I remember that one is because I remember she did the special effect where she had a wire attached to her thing, and she actually like changed outfits on stage. When she jumped the key, she actually had somebody pull a string and it changed her outfit on stage, which was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I remember Lainey Swick doing Ballad of Love and Hate by Avett Brothers, which has become one of my favorite songs since her performance. I really love that song. I remember that, well, this is selfish, but I remember the teacher band playing Who Are You by The Who. It was Mr. Looper was the guitarist, the soloist. And then Mrs. Foster's husband played the drums, and Miss Frederick sang vocals. I played the bass, and Miss Cant played the keys. And we sang, while they were tallying the votes for like the winner of the student talent show, we sang a song.
That's still pretty cool though. Like I remember it's just like, I was only at the one where Ziggy was performing because it's like that was literally one of my bestest friends in high school. Plus we carpooled together, so it's like I had to support him and stuff of that nature. I thought his performance was just so like awesome. Oh wow, look, there goes Ziggy and stuff of that nature. I hope he would drop some songs from time to time, but I really hope he would just kind of drop like a mixtape and everything. I dropped a mixtape somehow. I don't know how. I made it. I don't know. You've seen the mixtape, right? The one I dropped on Instagram.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, right? It was on Instagram.
Yeah, it's on 2021, actually. Not a couple years ago, but like last year.
It was last year. See, I'm telling you, man, COVID, like, changed everyone's concept of time.
No, really. It feels like half a decade. It really hasn't been that long.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Have you got to listen to some of the songs on my mixtape yet?
I listened to one. And I'm going to insult you and not remember. That's
okay. It's not insulting.
But I did listen to one because, you know, you shared it with me specifically. And so I listened to it. But I haven't, if it makes you feel any better, sorry, Ziggy, I haven't listened to any of Ziggy's.
That's okay. It's all okay. It's okay. I just want to work as hard as I can. I was supposed to get in the studio like this year so I could be able to drop music again, but you know, me trying to find a job and everything. And then I had to leave my last job. I had to start this next job probably in early October and everything. So it's like, I will soon again. But it's just, I feel like next year is going to be where like I'm really going to attack and everything. Cause I actually locked down with like one producer and he's like really working with me and everything. I want to stick with him until like I can really get like, until this becomes like second nature for me in a sense. But it's like, it took me months to actually put that tape out. I couldn't even believe I actually put that project. I'd never performed a song live before, but I plan to maybe one day once I get the courage again.
You know, actually, I have upstairs, I have a rap you wrote for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Really? No, you don't.
It was a birthday card. Yeah.
It was a birthday card?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can get it.
Definitely. We'll pause. Like, I don't even know. Like, I've been thinking, like, I only have it, like, I still got my rap books, but I haven't brought it and everything. But yeah, she's currently about to go she's getting a rap I got for her written in a birthday card. I don't even know if I remembered it, but yeah.
Like you used something like how like I was fly because that was the word at the time. I have it. I remember it. I'm just trying to.
No, she did not find she didn't find it yet. She will find it eventually. I know you saw it like a couple of days ago, right?
Probably like a couple weeks, but because I've been going through and trying to clean out our house and get rid of stuff. It's really bothering me that I can't find it. I did find a little card up there that you signed, but it was from everybody for my birthday. But it said like, "We love you, Miss V," from T.
Yeah, and keep in mind, everybody knows this, but T is not short for anything. It's literally just T and then 2 E's.
Yeah.
That's the name. Literally a very, very unique name and whatnot. But it's just like, yeah, you know, it's crazy. It's like I definitely wasn't one of the students that I don't want to say forgotten and everything because it's just like. You know, I kind of leave a carbon footprint. I don't know where I go. It's just, I don't mean it. It's just it just kind of comes with it. But I know amongst a lot of the other students, I don't want to like talk about which one was your favorite or whatever. But it's like, you know, if you would like to go in discussion about the ones that you really, really liked and everything, the reasons why you like them, you're free to do so. Ones
that I remember. I mean, I like all my kids. I really do. Everyone has. I think of every single kid as like a multifaceted jewel. Mm-hmm. And there are some sharp, like when you think about a diamond that hasn't been fully developed, there are sharp edges and there are parts that aren't pretty yet, but there are parts that are beautiful and that really reflect inner light and shine. Mm-hmm. And I think about the kids that I taught, and if I was to go through the yearbook, I could probably go through and be like even if I was to look at like the names on here, I have like all these. Let's see. So this is Sumaya. Yeah. Chawaziz.
Don't remember her.
She drew this whole thing.
Looks nice.
And then everyone signed it. I'm remembering. If I read the names, I mostly can remember Savannah McCullum. I'm still in touch with her. Oh. Nathan Weems, he came his junior year was his first year, and he wore. I remember him also because of yearbook too. Oh, okay. So I remember there's a picture of him in the yearbook in a Kermit the Frog shirt doing the push-up challenge.
Yeah, Savannah was cool.
Yep. Sarah Coble, she was really quiet. She had a really pretty little freckle. Deja Murphy had beautiful red hair. Very, very sweet. Quiet, but sweet. Like she would say kind things kind of as she was leaving the classroom. She was one of the few that would, at that, that would be like, thank you for, or having, Kaylee Chambers, I talked about her. Mariah Warren, I remember actually running into her. She was walking her dog out by her neighborhood that was down the street from QG. I remember running into her. Zuri, he went to University of Penn, or Penn State up there. And I've seen him on Facebook. He kind of is like one of those recommended friends, but I don't mind. I'll accept if kids ask to be my friend, but I don't want to like traumatic in case somebody's like you're I didn't because I don't know who. There's Mr. SinClair.
Oh, he's calling right now.
Yeah.
I love you, love.
Yes, lovey ring heart and lips.
You can answer the call if you want. Like, you want me to pause?
Nah, it's hey babe, I'm just talking with T, but if you're on your way home, I'll see you soon. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Oh, is he on his way here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool, wonderful. Maybe he might pop in during like the second half of the interview and stuff of that nature. I know we're just kind of going all over the place right now, but it is what it is.
Jones, he always wore black shirts, collared t-shirts, whatever. He was always in black, and then his khaki pants. Kara Moyes, she had a really sweet smile.
Okay.
She was quiet, but she had a really sweet smile. There's Mr. SinClair's signature. Kelsey Delaney, she had a lot of personality.
Kelsey Delaney. Oh, yeah, I recall her. Yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's coming back to me.
And then it's like the ones that signed together. So Morgan, Julia, Anna, and Kelsey. Morgan and Julia actually came to my wedding.
Oh, that's nice.
I actually extended an invitation when I married Mr. SinClair to all the students, and they actually drove down. And we're at my wedding. I have on my...
Sorry, I missed out. Probably didn't have a car at the time.
Probably not. I had a picture frame. I have a picture frame upstairs that has everyone that was at my wedding signed it. And it says like, we're so happy for you, Morgan and Julia. So I have them there forever.
Yeah.
Noah Smith, and he wrote hashtag turned down for what? Because he was in yearbook, and I made that yearbook. That was the year we did the flash mob at lunch to advertise the yearbook event at the end of the year. And we all did a dance that she's engaged to Dorian Williams.
Dorian. Sydney
Ross. She choreographed the dance for us, and we all we did like the Bernie, and it was a whole thing. Let's see what else. Oh, Walker, Texas Ranger. Yep, he was a blonde kid. He and Brett Day used to hang out together. Lisa Piacchese, I used to call her my mini-me. I think in the yearbook we actually were like twins days. Let's see. Oh, Michael Alston. He proposed to me when he found out Mr. SinClair had proposed. He proposed.
Oh, Michael Alston. I remember. I think it's all coming to my head. It's just like, I'm trying to think. I hope I don't get them mixed up. With the kind of like a New Yorker accent.
Yeah. Okay, and his cousin was Michaela.
I didn't know they were related. But
yeah, they were cousins. Anyway, so if I look and I see the names or I see the faces, I can remember specific things with pretty much every kid. There are always going to be kids that fall through the cracks. I feel like I was better about, or I tried to be better about noticing the kids that normally would fall through the cracks, because I was a kid in high school that kind of fell through the cracks. It's my sister, who I'm very good friends with now. We were very competitive, and she's amazing. She's an amazing person. She's gorgeous. She's effervescent. She's a social butterfly. She is a sweet person. She's really smart. She's really well read. She's a lover of Jesus. She's just an amazing mom. And so she, even back in high school, she was just kind of like, everyone naturally gravitated towards her. And so, now we're fine, but it did introduce some competitiveness in me, or almost like I was like, okay, well then if I don't need then I just want nothing to do with anything my sister is involved in or knows how to do or does. And so it kind of, through my own choices, I kind of fell through the cracks for I think a lot of teachers.
It happens, I guess with me and my brother, I don't know if you remember Taurus. I don't think
he was a freshman. I think my last year was his freshman year, so I never got a chance to teach him, but I remember Taurus.
Yeah, I know. Taurus and Zoe actually are still together, today. Zoe King. Not sure if you probably had her in the class or whatnot, but I know
Mr. SinClair might have.
I know that she was really close to, what was it? Tara Brunt's mother. What was Tara Brunt's mother? Miss Brunt. I think Miss Brunt knows of her really well. But yeah, they've been together since high school. I think they're going to 7 years now.
But see, they get to say when people say, "How did you meet?" and they say, "We met in high school." They actually get to mean they met in high school instead of Mr. SinClair and I deceiving everybody.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's experiences is different and everything of that nature. With siblings and stuff. I think the deal with me and my brother is just I was kind of I kind of put him on to a lot of things growing up and everything. So it's just he kind of he expressed himself through the way of that. So we always had share a lot of interests and stuff like hip hop, anime, and just stuff of that nature. So it's this is we're kind of each other's support system in regards to everything in life and stuff. So it's just I know, yeah.
I gotta be honest, I do not understand the fascination with anime. Can you
explain it?
Explain?
Well, I see it's just there's a lot of elements in terms of storytelling that comes with anime. So just what Harry Potter and their world building, anime has their own distinctive world building for each one. For Naruto, they got the world of in a ninja world. So it's the politics, everything in regards to that. It all connects with these jutsus and these powers, but also it's just trying to gather resources too, all that background stuff. But then there's also a sense of Kekkai Genkai that you gain through a bloodline, these powers that you connect with through a bloodline. Certain families of ninja have certain powers that other families and ninjas don't have. And sometimes they have to work together. All these families come together to form a village and stuff of that nature. And then you have like, there's just like the world building is really what brings people together. Now with Dragon Ball Z, you have like, these powers when it comes to ki, martial arts, and how they can literally become so powerful that they can literally blow up planets and stuff of that nature. But then learn to try to balance like day-to-day life and stuff of that nature. Or it's just so many different worlds you can really go into. I would recommend something. I like Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho is really good. That's just something I personally connect with. But it really just depends on whatever your interests are. Like I'm pretty sure anime has something like that would give you that interest. And I feel like with our generation, we had a block on Cartoon Network called a Toonami, and that really introduced a whole lot of people to these Japanese shows and stuff in English dub. And so like a lot of us really fall into that, and so we kind of see it as like nostalgic to a certain degree. And so now it just kind of bleeds into different types of culture and stuff. So like, for instance, what are things that you really, really like? I know Harry Potter is one of them for sure.
I enjoy Harry Potter. Well, I guess I have so many things I like. But if you're thinking nostalgic, I was thinking that's kind of an interesting thought, that it's like what you grow up with is what it kind of develops that inside of you. That's really interesting because I still have, they're on display over there, but I still have some of my original My Little Ponies.
Oh, no, that's all.
So that's, and that's from when I was, a kid, where the age where you were for Toonami, it would be probably the age I was for My Little Pony. So it is true that things kind of form you, the things that you're interested in, you can still hold on to them. I do think that it's funny that as an adult, because I don't have kids, and so I have a little bit of expendable income, not a ton, but a little bit, that it's like, oh, now that I'm adult, I get to spend money on things I want to spend money on, so
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Basking all the
things that you used to. Within budget, I don't just splurge, like we follow our budget, but do work some space and breathing room in there for like fun things, because it's important to enjoy.
Yeah, I guess just a lot of the characters in anime just represent just certain things that we like to carry on as we grow older and stuff of that nature. Like, like the characters in Dragon Ball Z, for instance, like, you have Goku. Goku is like a superpower martial artist. He started like very humble, like just being like a kid from the woods, and then somehow like he gets in contact with this billionaire adventurer type woman who just like goes out and seek these artifacts called the Dragon Balls, and you gather all 6 of them and you summon a dragon and he'll grant you any type of wish and everything. So that's pretty much aligns with a lot of like the adventures, basically. You're meeting all these other martial artists, these demons and stuff. But really, Goku really grows into being so powerful, yet still being very gentle, being one that really sticks with his friends and stuff of that nature. And then all the other characters, like, 2 characters in particular, like Vegeta or Piccolo, enemies he had to face, but in due time they become allies due to like common threats too, but also the sense of like no matter how bad you might have done things or any things that you might have done in the past, you can still redeem yourself. You can still stand up for righteousness even no matter what wickedness you may have done in the past. Or like there's characters like Gohan, who is like a half Saiyan, which is like, that's what Goku is. Like, he's actually like not even human. He's actually from space, and that's where he gets all his powers from. But it's crazy. It's like really crazy world. It's just like, okay, like, like you might not want to fight or whatever, or you might not have an urge to like fight or battle and everything, but when there comes a time where you have to stand up for your family or stand up for the things that you love, you have to gain that strength to protect them. There's just so many different facets of storytelling that we actually gain from these characters, whether it be Naruto, never give up on your dreams, always keep fighting, Yusuke, even when you feel like you're worthless or you're not appreciated, truth is you are appreciated and you are loved, and it's all really just a matter of just putting those people first and not thinking of yourself selfishly. So it's like you gain a whole lot of this knowledge, a whole lot of this, these quirks from these characters, and you just learn to just kind of like, not in a sense innovate, but just kind of learn to just kind of guide you, just like any other fictional character in the past. That's what anime is too. So it's just the same way and stuff of that nature. Do you really get any of this quips from Harry Potter? What do you learn from Harry Potter?
I think all stories that are good stories have something that connects with you on a human level, right? I mean, Harry Potter, I just enjoy the good versus evil, the great battle, this idea that, and that when some of my, and I'm going to sound like such a cliche, but it's some of the smaller characters are the ones that make the biggest, impact. And you don't realize that they are making such a huge impact until, the whole series wraps up and you're like, oh my word, this character, this thing that I didn't think meant anything in book one is totally this whole thing that unfolds, so but that's also really well written story, I think. So
yeah, I really need to get into Harry Potter for sure, because I know they be having it on ABC Family when it's like Christmas time, and I think on HBO you can watch the whole thing, so it's like I have no excuses now, so I need to get on it.
They do okay. I'm going to be the literature teacher. I'm going to say you got to read the book, but
nothing wrong with it. I don't know why. It's like, currently I'm reading the 4 Agreements and everything. I'm trying to take at least 14 pages a day so I can be able to finish the book in like 10 days and stuff to actually but it's just like, there's other books I actually have like, Think Rich, Grow Rich, I think is the one. And like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Definitely want to like get those books within my mentality of literature, because like, these are books that really change other people's like mindset to really become redirect their trajectory to actually become successful. And it's like, at this stage of my life, I'm really at a transitional stage where it's like, okay, like I'm leaving college, like, and now it's like I'm really about to head into the real world for real this time. But at the same time, I want to seek out my master's degree in business, and I also want to seek out to get my doctor's degree somewhere down the line too, whenever I relocate to Washington DC, because I want to go to Howard University. My father works at the hospital there, so it's just like, once I really got to NCCU, I just can't get enough of school. I just love learning and stuff of that nature. But it's like I want to actually learn. I want to actually use whatever I learn to actually be something of a positive, to actually push more of a positive note for my family and also my culture in Liberia, also to really give them opportunities too. And it's like, it's really just a matter of really taking that first step forward and stuff of that nature. But it's like,
do you think you'll go back to Liberia and develop business there, or do you plan on like, how are you wanting to do like host foreign exchange students? Like, what are your goals and dreams for that? That's really cool.
I mean, there's a whole lot of like, not I want to say back and forth and whatever, but there's a whole lot of work to be done in Liberia. It's after 2 civil wars, it's a lot. It's kind of like a mess. I mean, right now we have a soccer player as like the president, which is like, I'm not trying to get on him, but it's okay. It's like, but it's kind of like, getting Hulk Hogan to be like, I know you're a wrestling fan too. It's like Hulk Hogan to be the president of
keep
America.
That on the down low.
Oh, why not? I know you're a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan for sure.
I am a Steve Austin fan, but we don't talk about it.
Why don't you want to talk about it? That was one of the main things I wanted to speak about too.
No, it's not.
It was. I know you posted it like on 316 Day. It was like that. I think Stone Cold's one of your wasn't meant MCMs or whatever.
Yeah, man. Well, it was. I was joking. It was back when Instagram was like a thing, but I was joking because it was actually a Woman Crush Wednesday, but it's also WCW is the World Federation
World Championship Wrestling.
Yes, exactly. So I was joking about being like, WCW is my Woman Crush Wednesday, but no, yes, I do like Steve Austin.
Everything. I know Stone Cold Steve. What was your favorite? I know in the Attitude Era is like Stone Cold. I love The Rock and everything. I
like The Rock. I like who he is now.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of him back in wrestling as The Rock, but I think that I love it when people can redefine themselves. I think about like William Shatner has kind of redefined who he is over the course of his career. There was a guy named Leslie Nielsen. I know I'm kind of thrown back here. He was a very serious actor in the 40s and 50s. And then he was, in the end of his life, he was in the 80s and 90s. He was in a bunch of parodies. You probably would recognize him more along those lines, like Airplane and Naked Gun, 1 and 1.5, and some of those like parody movies that make fun of movies. So he kind of like reinvented himself, and so I think that that's one thing I admire about like people like The Rock, where they can reinvent themselves into something new.
Oh, like a super movie star and everything. I would say, like, would you say like Robert Downey Jr. is one of those people on your list?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. Yeah.
Very big inspiration for sure. Like, cause he, like, without him, there is no MCU. Like now,
That's true.
like seriously, like imagine just like having an issue. I think what changed his life is he had a bad burger at Burger King and just like, like I need to get my life together, and then boom, Iron Man and stuff of that nature.
I don't know the full story. I knew he was back in the 80s. He was a heartthrob actor, teen bop movie. And I know he got into drugs and stuff. So I don't know what kind of gave him I don't know the story of like why he turned around, but then he kind of like 180'd it and walked the other way.
He went to Burger King. That was literally it. I'm not even trying to mess with Burger King. I actually like their mozzarella sticks. Sometimes I don't know, it's like a weird thing to get from a burger place is mozzarella sticks.
I like their buns. I love Whoppers, but their fries could stand some revamping. But their burger buns are the sesame seed bun. It's choice.
I know they got the whole mystery Fanta and everything, mystery Fanta drink. I know it's like strawberry shortcake, I think now.
Oh, I haven't tried it.
You haven't tried it yet? It's really good. It's actually like great. I was like, wow, what is this? Like, what is the flavor? But I didn't really care. It's like, this is too good to even care. Whatever it is, I love it and everything. But it's just like, it's because he ate a bad burger and he just like saw that burger. It's like, wow, I need to get my life together. And that's what really set the trajectory and everything. Well, I know it's a weird story, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like, man, I guess I'll just go to McDonald's now. Like, I don't know.
I will say, like, it's one of those things where if you go to like Hibachi Grill and you're like, I'm gonna go eat a Hibachi Grill, and you're just standing there for about 5 minutes, you will never eat there again. Just standing there, smell it, and look around. And I've never eaten there since because I'm like, man, I don't want to be like I am bigger than I want to be, but I don't want to be 600 pounds.
Oh, really? I mean, it's like, for my case, I know you see, like, I'm kind of a little bit slender now and everything, which is crazy. I mean, but it's like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that had to do with just me losing my appetite as I got older and everything. Yeah. Like, I like to eat, but it's just like, only on special occasion. Like, if I were to go to Hibachi, like, I would have to go there, like, when it's really, really special. Like, when it's like, because I love eating their mussels and their sushi. That's the main thing I go for and everything. But it's just like, I just feel like it's just a matter of priority. I know I exercise. I try to run every day, and I try to like weight lift as much as I can. Yeah, as much as I can. If I don't run one day, I might just run like the next day. But it's like, it's a good stress reliever, to exercise and stuff of that nature. But it's just
really
like,
good to get into the habit of that at your age and when you're young enough to get into it, because when you get to be my age and then you have a car accident, and then because of the car accident you gain 75 pounds because you can't move. Now I've got, as you see over there, I've got my recumbent bike, so I've been trying to get back into actually moving and burning calories. But a lot of it has been controlling my calories and my portion sizes too.
Oh, really? What really brought it down for me is like I went on something called a Daniel fast. I know you're pretty religious. You heard of something like that, right?
I have.
Yeah, it's like where it's all I had to do, which is fruits and vegetables and like get away from sugar and everything. So it was like really just a spiritual thing at first, and then it manifested as something like more when I kept messing it up. Oh, is that this?
That's Mr. SinClair.
Oh, okay. That's for anybody that's in the background here, and that is Mr. SinClair, I assume, in the background. And the cats are moving in that direction, I assume.
That's because when Mr. SinClair comes home, they know it's time for dinner.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess the cats are getting excited for that. Oh, there he is. Good. That was it. Hey, how's it going, Mr. SinClair?
How's it going?
I'm just interviewing Miss SinClair right quick.
Okay.
You're free to hop in if you like and everything.
Oh, she's got the good ideas.
Oh, no. I told him, I said, don't think you'll get away with it. Maybe he'll be 102.
102. 102. I wonder, maybe you can hop on another episode, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because like now it's like I know where y'all stay at, so it's like, which isn't very far and everything. It's actually like right. I think it's like, how far are y'all? Y'all like 17 minutes away from me? I live on the east side Charlotte, so it's just
17 to 20.
17 to 20.
Depending on time of day.
Depending on time on the day. But it's like, for my case with the whole, we're talking about like fasting and like calories and stuff. That's where you walked in. Yeah.
We're just talking about everything. We're talking about everything.
That's literally what this podcast is about. You talk about everything. Literally everything. Your wife is the 101st episode right now.
Okay.
I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, that's
very
exciting.
long time. No, for real. But anyway, I miss SinClair. I like what I did and everything for the whole Daniel fast is like I found this Mediterranean restaurant and all I ate for like 21 days because I kept messing it up. I thought it would just be something dumb like a piece of caramel or something like that. Just at the doctor, like, oh wow, a piece of caramel. That's not. Oh, I was on a fast. Oh, I messed it up. I got to start over again. And then it's just like, so me messing it up kind of helped, like kind of prolonged it for a while. And, but what I was eating to really help for the 21 days, because during that 21 days, I was also in and out of the studio. So it's just like, I really had to get my mind right. I ate quinoa, chickpeas, and lentils from a place called Wayfare, a Mediterranean restaurant. I just say that's all I want to eat, and they would be kind of weird. I was like, "Don't you want to add some meat or something to this?" And it's just like, "Nah, just that." And that's all I would eat, and then they would just magically go away, like for a while, because I was also exercising and running too. So it's just like, just something to think about. Like you can also do fast, and you can probably like set up like a fast, whether you want to take just 1 week out of the month or whatever, or if you just want to just do in between days or something like that. Start off slow with it, and then like once you have a taste for it, and then your body starts kind of feeling better over that. That's how it breaks down toxins in the body, because it's not just fatty adipose tissue. It's also toxins, which actually make it harder for you to just kind of melt everything away. So it's something to keep in mind if you actually want to still keep going in that direction or whatever. But
I mean, I've lost 25 pounds since the beginning of the year. I've been pretty steady losing the weight. I actually do a form of it. I only eat between the hours of 7 and 7. Although tonight I'll probably have to eat a little past 7 because, it's already 6:45.
I mean, at least you got something set up. Like I didn't eat nothing all day. Like I was like in bed all most of the day. I don't know what's up. It's just I was just in bed. It's like, oh, it's already 11 o'clock. Like, okay, I'll just keep laying down. And so it's just like, what else I got to do? Okay, I got to interview this SinClair. I got another interview. Oh no, he canceled it. Good, great, wonderful. But it's just like I'm just trying to still hit like 20 episodes this month. I'm really got to get close to hitting that 150th mark and everything. But anyway, if we had to switch back to the Queen's Grand memories and stuff of that nature, what are some memories that you hold that you really cherish outside of the whole talent show stuff, but just anything in general?
Wow. I don't know if you were there when Miss Frederick and I used to do Harry Potter wand battles in the hallway.
No.
Yeah, we used to do those, and I used to knock on her door randomly and sing, "Would you like to build a snowman?" And she would go away, Elsa. And I would say, "Okay, bye," and shut the door when I was on planning and she would have a class. Miss Mills and I are very close friends now. I have fond memories of all sorts of stuff with her. I'm trying to think. What are some of my standout memories at?
One this memory from Miss Mills that really had me laughing. I think Monty was in my class and he tried singing like the thing from the whole like apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, but he kept messing it up. And it's actually Miss Mills. Actually, it's apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. I was laughing so hard. I was laughing. I don't even know if she still remembers it. I just thought it was so funny because you wouldn't expect her to know it word for word, but she did. So it's like,
yeah, I definitely, those kinds of things are fun. I have memories of, I can remember, I probably won't repeat it here, but I can remember the first time I ever swore in class, and I was doing it snarkily. But I remember it was the class I had Ziggy and Milani Crawford.
Oh yeah, they were in a class together.
Yes, and I dropped the A word in class, and they were like, oh, Miss SinClair, And I always love to drop whenever I can. That's what I was saying, like remembering hashtags and remembering, slangs and things. Like when we did Great Gatsby, I remember one class where I said Daisy was a thought, and everybody just was like, "Oh, Miss SinClair, you know what a thought is." But that was also part of what I was doing with that unit was because we were talking about the evolution of language and the fact that some of the words in that book you can't understand if you don't understand Flapper, where they were speaking like that in the 1920s and they had their own slang. And so then we talked about like modern slang, and I was like, so if we were using modern slang to describe this, then I would maybe say Daisy is a thought, and they were like, oh,
Daisy is a flapper. Okay. So.
Well, or Daisy is in that era she'd be a Sheba.
Sheba.
Yeah, but you have different words that evolves over time, That
was a weird role. I know in the live action where they had Tommy Maguire in that. I'm just like, She came back for No Way Home, and I'm like, wow, the Spider-Man movie. Like, No Way. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yes. Oh, I loved it. Except I didn't see it opening night. If you're an MCU fan, you've got to see it in the first couple of weekends because I saw it later, and I was the only person that was like cheering. And it was really awkward.
Yeah, because it was so quiet when we went and everything. Like me and my brother, I feel was like the most like like why y'all come to see this movie so early if y'all aren't excited to see the movie?
I know, right?
And it's just like, man, I saw it I think twice in theaters because the first time I saw it with my brother and the second time I saw it with my brother and my nephew and everything. So it was just so like out of body experience because for years they said they were gonna do something like this, but we never really knew it was gonna happen until it happened.
Yeah.
So it was just beautiful to know that happened. So it's just like, William Dafoe didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, he was great. They were all. I thought that movie was. I thought a lot of people were great in it, reprising those roles that they brought to life. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because it's like William Dafoe really is underrated for real. Because for 20 years not stepping in the same suit and everything, and it's like you're still just as menacing as you were, and still have the same quotes and everything, clips of the first Green Goblin and everything. Because like he was the first Green Goblin, and then like his James Franco tried to take it over that for the third movie awkwardly, and then it was just
the whole movie was awkward though. That the Spider-Man 3 was an awkward mess.
It was just a big meme when you really think about it.
It was awkward.
It was very, very so. I feel like a lot of it because people thought like the suit was gonna be like more like reflecting to the comic book, but then it just became like just turn it black. Like, did you even try to like make it different? It's just
no.
They didn't try. So it's just like on top of that, I feel like they would have gave like an extra year to just kind of reconsider things maybe. But then it was just like, Andrew Garfield, I feel like redeemed himself. And I don't feel like he needed to redeem himself. He was just his own Spider-Man. And it's just like some people liked it, some people didn't. I liked it and everything when it came
back. Amazing Spider-Man was great.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like there's more chance for them to make a third one, which is wonderful. But then it really opens new avenues for storytelling, for the whole multiverse theory and stuff of that nature, variants and stuff. Like, it's just crazy how like so many shows kind of led up to it. It's like, of course, there's multiple Spider-Man because you watch WandaVision and if you watch Loki, it's like, okay, the whole variant process is it's not crazy.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they won't fall, which... It's kind of, I'm going to speak it and then of course it's going to happen because this is just how it is. But I really don't want them to fall into the lazy pattern of like, okay, now let us remake these same stories, but in a different universe, in a different multiverse, like, oh, come on, like give us something original. I mean,
yeah, like these multiverse stuff is just, it kind of goes into the danger zone of just like, okay, so then what's really at stake if there's like another universe where they lose and the universe where because where it first kind of touches upon stuff like that was when Doctor Strange was kind of like looking at all those possibilities, how they were going to beat Thanos and everything. So it's like they must have lost like so many times. So it's like for them to put it in the end game, quote unquote, they had to set that standard with everything that happened as it happened in the Infinity War. So it's just like going forward, especially when Chadwick Boseman passed away and everything, that I thought he was going to be one of the main anchors going forward.
Oh, I was so sad.
Yeah.
That was a hit. That was like a sucker punch. It's kind of like one of those things where they're movie stars and you don't really know them, but there's a certain amount of like, you feel like you know them.
No, seriously, because like I cried when I watched like Black Panther and everything.
After he was gone.
Not after when he was gone. Like actually, I cried in the theater when he actually had to go to that ancestral plane to meet his father and everything. Yeah. Like that was really gripped it. I was like, oh man, because it was like right after I turned 20. I think was it before or right? Because like my birthday is February 15th. And this movie came out 2018, so this is right around the time I turned 20. So it's like I saw it like my birthday to see Black Panther. So I was like, oh yes, because I knew about Black Panther, but now they're putting it in theaters now. And I'm like, I was really, really liking it. And then it's just like from that, and then it's like, no, that there won't be a sequel. I thought he was going to be one of the main anchors going forward.
I think he would have been. I really think that he would have been based on like they recovered quickly. So they had the Black Panther movie. Mm-hmm. Then in Avengers Infinity War, he was in there so little. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was quite like it was palpable how little he was in that movie. Mm-hmm. And so I think that they pivoted and they were trying to like having him be the first one to come back after they snapped the fingers and like reinstating him as the king. Like, I really think that they would have done more if he hadn't have just in reality passed away. I think that it could have been its whole, because they set up a whole story at the end where they were really going to like expand Wakanda out into
into the
into
world.
the world.
Basically.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
and-
really think they would have.
Yeah, I kind of would have seen him as probably like not like the new Iron Man in a sense, but like definitely like an anchor going forward because like Iron Man was that main anchor.
Oh yeah, I think he would have been an Avenger going
Yeah.
forward, like he would have been in the Avengers movies. Absolutely, I think that they were hinting at that when they put him in Captain America: Civil War, that he was going to start being
Like,
more of an Avenger staple. I absolutely think so.
for sure. And considering like the resources he had, the technology he had, it's just like him being a king and like, you know, known for actually being a part of politics too, you know, that really would have set the tone for him just really being like the figurehead of like the Avengers moving forward in the place where like, you know, Iron Man was not. So it's just, I feel like that's kind of gone to like Doctor Strange to a degree now. But for more or less of what it means and everything, you know, I think it's pretty cool and everything, you know, because it's like then we got Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and like, you know, like the new Captain America. I thought like, you know, like he was gonna be like the main one, kind of bringing everything together now. But,
I gotta tell you, I did not finish Captain America and the Winter Soldier when the fake Captain America took the strength potion and it didn't go to Sam. I was like, I'm done.
Oh, you didn't finish
I was
that
so
one?
mad. No, I was so mad.
I think he's gonna be like one of the Thunderbolts now. I think going forward, like, you know, like he's not Captain America. He's gonna be just U.S. agent now. But like it's him. It's a team with him. It was gonna be like Red Hulk on that team too, and who else is gonna be on it? Ghost from the second from the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, like the girl that could like phase through the wall. Big cliffhanger. She didn't get her cure, so we don't know where she's at in life. So it's like, you know, it's just going to be a lot of stuff going on. There's a whole lot of exciting things to look forward to in the MCU, but at the same time, there's like still that little bag of like, you know, there's got to be like an end to it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
I don't know. I think as long as they can make money on it, they'll find ways to continue to make movies.
Go straight to the 2040s with it. You think that might be possible?
Why not go all the way?
That's
They'll still be making Avengers movies when I'm turning in my grave.
Still pretty scary now because it's like, cause you don't want it to be like just like you want to, you know, for it to even reach that milestone of getting all of them on the Avengers in 2012, which is like a crazy time. Like me and my brother, they're like, oh wow, now they're all in the same movie, and now it happens multiple times. Like, oh wow, they're in the same movie, but like a couple times in, still pretty good movie though. But it's just like it's still that quip that's just like, man, I really hope it doesn't plateau. I feel like it's starting to get into that era where it's like, okay, after Thanos, they're trying to make King the Conqueror like the main bad person, but then it's like we still don't have an idea what his plans are and like what he wants to get.
Who?
King the Conqueror. Have you seen Loki?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy.
Oh, the guy that runs time?
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
He's
okay.
King the Conqueror, basically.
Okay.
And there's variants of him, all sorts of variants, and they're all supposed to be bad. So it's like, it's kind of think like a merger between Ultron and Thanos. And
See, I think they have some really interesting villain potential in the updated 10 Rings at the end of Shang-Chi.
yeah, he was
Or
supposed to be.
Shang-Chi, sorry.
Yeah, I feel like the Mandarin was supposed to be Iron Man's bad guy.
Well, no, but then at the end of that movie, they set it up where instead of tearing down and closing the 10 rings, the sister is keeping it going.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at the same time, Iron Man ain't here to go up against that. Now it's like a Shang-Chi villain. It's just like, I would have really liked to see that dynamic of the technology of war and stuff that mankind creates versus like the mysticism, like how it could be sinister, like how can technology fight that? I would have really loved that, but it's like Iron Man 3, they didn't have it. We could really be here talking about this forever. But I want to be able to keep this grounded. I want to keep this grounded back to Queen's Grant and everything. But anyway, beyond other memories and everything, what are some other memories that you would cherish out of like Queen's Grant? I don't have to make you like dig in and go on and on and on. But like, what are some things that you would cherish about it? Yeah.
Let's see. I will always be grateful to have that. It was my first classroom, and getting to put together, my curriculum and my bulletin boards and some of that stuff. I really appreciated and enjoyed. I'm trying to think specific. I always will be grateful for the opportunity to encourage students, specifically, I think, young men. And I don't want to sound weird.
It's all right.
I think people break boys.
It's okay.
And I think that it's okay to break them if you work to put them back together so that they can be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there is a certain amount of like, I will break him as a boy and I won't build him back as a man.
Yeah.
And that was something something I really feel like I noticed and I tried to battle, I guess.
I wouldn't say battle. Try to be more nourishing in terms of just like, like, because I know one of the best things about your class is like it never felt like just a class. It just felt like, that was one of the few blocks of like the day where it's like, okay, I can relax and everything. I wasn't on edge. Because there were some teachers, I'm gonna bring them out, and then who used to like pull me out of class and say like I was like a waste of time and everything. That still lingers with me even to this day. And I'm like, why would you get this job to put down other kids? Like, and it's just like, you do realize y'all are like adults and everything. I'm 24. I couldn't imagine like saying that to like anybody younger than me. Like, I got cousins and everything, and I always try to build them up. I always try to spend time. And it's just like, that development stage and everything that could really carry out in multiple ways. They do internalize that as being truth, and then they take it and like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm a waste of time, aren't I? Or it's like they are invigorated. It's like, I'm gonna prove you otherwise. And in a sense, I feel like I kind of did, but there's always like a part of me that feels like I still have to keep working, and it's just like, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but it's mostly a good thing depending on how you look at it. But it's just like, it's like for your class, I feel like it was like a class where it's like I felt like, welcomed, where I felt like I could just like, okay, like this teacher actually wants me to succeed. I'm not a threat to her and everything.
Yeah.
I'm actually like a human being at the time, like I feel like a lot of students actually, face situations like that, and they kind of fall out of line with school, and then they don't want to go to school. I went to college, only like about 80% of the people that go to the school are women. And it's just like, it's sad because you're going to need an education to really find a job specifically, and then like you have friends that go into scamming and go into drugs and stuff of that nature. And I'm like, that's not the job security with that. It's not good. Not good. Not, I'd rather just grow within a system and actually like build my skill set going forward. I don't mind being humble at times. Maybe I might not have the best clothes or the best shoes, but at least I'm in the right side where it's just like, I can actually set an example for my cousins and my other family while also pushing, the boundaries or the perceived limitations in my own life. I never thought I'd be able to like graduate from college as cum laude and everything, and when I tell the people that's like, really? It's like, we hear like the way you talk and you seem pretty articulate, but it's like, it wasn't always like that. There were times where people kind of saw us as like, oh, you're imbecilic or like something like that. And it's just like, you realize I'm joking sometimes, like I'm not serious.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, so, there are some teachers that, that actually know your potential and realize it. And there's some teachers that just don't and everything. Would you say that you're one of the teachers to kind of look for the best in other people no matter what?
I mean, it's going to sound like a self brag, and I don't mean to sound braggy, but I try to, I was always tried to be very careful. If I had a student that was a sibling of another student, I tried to make sure that I didn't ever compare or call them by their sibling's name. Be very purposeful that this is a unique person. Everyone is unique and everyone has value. Everyone has value because, God puts value on people. He, gave his son for people, and that's a high price. And so to belittle or diminish and I'm not perfect. I'm sure that somewhere out there are students who felt like I belittled them, or that I, shoved them to the side, or that I never saw them, or that I, wouldn't know their name, or I wouldn't recognize them in the street, or whatever the thing is. And I would hope that that's not true. I would hope that I was never the person in someone's life that's the voice in their head, the Mrs. SinClair saying something nasty or mean. I would hope that that's not true, but I, too aware of my own imperfections to say that it's probably not true. I just think it's important to be, especially when you're in a position of authority like that, to be as
mindful.
Yeah, that's a good word. Mindful.
Yeah. I learned a lot of words in these classes, by the way.
Yeah, mindful and aware, and remembering that just like when I come through the door there's a lot of stuff happening in my life outside of that classroom. Same with the students. There's a lot happening in their life that I don't know. Everyone's an iceberg. We have, this much on the surface and all that underneath that's happening that we don't know. And so, yeah, I would hope that I more than not was a positive in the lives of my students.
Well, take it from me, you definitely are the homie. Most definitely.
Still have that picture of us.
Oh yeah, I do. It's on my Instagram. I need to find it. I can definitely. I'll probably. You know what? I'll post it on Instagram as I posted it. Your. Yeah, I still got it. I kind of archived it because I want to keep. But yeah, I can definitely re-put it. Definitely.
So funny.
Such a funny. You got it on your page, right?
I do. It's somewhere back in mine. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Yeah, it was. If anybody wondered what we're laughing about, if you could check it out on my Instagram for sure. See, there's a photo where it's I left my jacket. No. Ziggy left his jacket in your room, and it's I think you're collecting money for what was that?
Actually, it was Miss Arch was collecting stuff for the cheerleaders, and I was actually double checking the number for her. She had done the count, and then she was having me double check the count. And you were in there for tutoring. You were doing extra work outside of class. It was after school, and I think you were waiting. You had we had a 20-minute window where we were working together, and it was about to wrap up because I think your mom or your ride had come, and we took that.
I had to get his jacket because me and Ziggy were carpooling in the same neighborhood.
But I threw it on me. I threw it on my shoulders.
We run this.
We got my money. We run this. Yes.
Just one of the many reasons why I really love that club, because it's you had no problem with just being just funny and just connecting with other people. You came across as a human being first instead of just one above all or whatever.
I remember one time they asked me to teach in the Charlie Brown voice, and so I did. There's somebody has a video of it somewhere where I'm holding the book and I'm going womp 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 womp.
The adults, how the adults be talking.
Yeah.
I Charlie Brown voice, you know how to do a Charlie Brown impression?
No, the adults. Yeah, that was one. I remember. There was a picture of me on Instagram that I took of me running away from giraffes. And there was fake giraffes in a store. And I remember there was a group of students who took it, and there was apparently it was a thing. I never ever found it, and I would love to see them. But somebody said that they made memes of me running away from random things because my face was and so they took it and photoshopped it and then put me running away from stuff. I used to always be curious. I would occasionally, I don't really do it anymore, but back for a couple of years, I was really, when I was just starting to get a Twitter, I, signed up for Twitter.
Can never get into Twitter. I don't know. I just don't feel like my opinions matter that much to just put it out there.
I don't really say that much, and honestly you need to get off of it because it's such a cesspool of negativity. There's very little positive on Twitter. I'm sorry. I know that there are a few people who post positive things, but for the most part it's being just nasty to each other and saying unkind things, and you just can't get a good point across in 140.
I get enough negativity from Instagram and Snapchat. It's just, I don't know, man. Social media is supposed to be used to be social and a media, not I know it's not the best
social media.
But it's just at the same time, I feel like people use it as a weapon and everything. Cyberbullying is one thing, spreading rumors, sending pictures to people. It's another use of information, getting information out. Yeah. And it's just it's just really sad how people use it for stuff like that, when they could have used it for things of that nature. I feel things like that should be used to bring people together, because we're far away from the time we used to say birds and owls to send letters to people. It's just, I feel really appreciate how easy it is to get inaccessible to somebody now.
Yeah, I feel the golden era of the internet happened when I was in college. When my cat is this is very unusual. This is my little black cat. He is very skittish. Okay. It is very impressive that he is even remotely close to you. Okay. He is very skittish of strangers. Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, I got good vibes.
You do. You must have very good vibes.
He's walking that way now.
Well, he's because we were looking at him. But anyway, yeah, I just think the golden era of internet, I really think, was when I was in college. You had IMing, but you could only IM people you had email for. So it had to be people you knew. Couldn't just IM strangers or message strangers unless you got into a chat room. But even then you had to have, there was a limit of what you had to put some specific information in. Facebook, you could only have a Facebook page if you had a college address. And then once you graduated, it disappeared.
Oh, and now Facebook, everybody had Facebook, and then now it's like,
and then Facebook is they're the extended into Twitter and Instagram. Those are like part of their company, or they work part of their company originally. So I think that it's kind of turned into a monster from something that actually, I mean, I used to really enjoy finding things on the internet. I can remember there was this place called zthing.com. It's can't find it anywhere anymore, but they had a bunch of like silly cartoons and games. Terrible. Like there was a game where you were elves and you were bouncing a reindeer across, trying to teach it how to fly. And if you failed, it fell and died, and Santa came and shot it in the head. It was quite gross. But that was that channel. It was just fun. And they had silly cartoons of like celebrity auditions that they drew that were fake. So it was like Adam Sandler auditioning to be the creepy cannibal in Silence of the Lambs, and like him. Anyway, just ridiculous. But you could find some really funny. But man, I don't know. I think that the part of the internet that used to be quite a little bit you had to go digging for is now just so much on the surface. It's like you open it up and there it is.
Yeah, I guess it just became more aligned with what real life is and what people think is valuable in real life, you know, from status and things of that nature. You got so many followers and everything, and then maybe you matter, maybe you don't, and stuff. And then people just use it as a way to just try to like break down people's character, try to like mentally abuse other people, or just like, you know, but at the same time, it can be actually used for great good too. Even to this day, you know, the whole podcast situation, I've had discussions with people who've had issues like with mental health, so that's their way to vent and everything. I've had episodes where people speak on their experiences with that, deal with things like discrimination, you know, stuff of that nature. I wish I could get more females on so we could pretty much talk about the dating culture and everything of that nature. I feel like that's something we really need to address for sure, because, you know, things are just, I feel like people just stop valuing other people, and I feel like that's where this generation, we're gonna have the hardest time getting through that over time, because it's like, you know, you can't just treat anybody any sort of way, you know, and you got to really learn to value others and understand that they're human beings, and it's just like, you know, they're not, you know, vehicles to just drive your projections or your insecurities away, because that's just not the way to handle and deal with others people. You got to treat other people the way you would want to be treated, which is pretty basic stuff to understand. But some people have certain chemical imbalances in their brains, and just certain things they react to and certain things, how they process things, won't be the same as the next person. So it's just like, it's really just a matter of just maturing as an individual and really just learning to just how to use that for good. Because I use social media to get other interviews. I use it to network. I also use it as a means to just get other information to other people. You know, it's just like, I don't mind seeing other people shine, and it's just seeing other people win and being happy doesn't discourage my own happiness. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that maturity, and that's what leads them down a path where it's just like, you know, they just don't seem to keep things positive in their life, because they just don't want positivity for others. And I feel like that's just what a reflection of what social media is now. So it's like, yeah, to put that into that perspective. But we need to really start wrapping this up pretty soon, because like we actually went over the hour mark. I usually stop at an hour.
Well, some of that is me running around, and you'll have to edit it down.
Oh no, I pause it while
okay.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while now. It's just, so it's like, but it really just for another like a good couple moments and everything. If you would like to, I like to appreciate you for hopping on and everything. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great to see you like in person, because I think, like, you know, because it's like I had a tough time at Queen's Grant from time to time too, but it's like I try to cherish like the friends that I've made and the teachers who actually do believe in me, like from Mr. Murray, Mr. Carr was really good to me. The chemistry teacher that lost her foot, what was her name?
Hamilton?
Miss Hamilton. Oh my God, yeah, she was my dog. She was very, very nice. Mr. Angel, who used to be a student there at Queen's Grant, became a teacher, and he was a really, really good teacher. Mr. Gershio was a wonderful teacher. Miss Frederick was a great teacher. Had her all the time for like English and everything. everything. She's one of the reasons why I write down new words and everything. And I just because, as a rapper, you got to learn more vocabulary.
It's true.
Very, very true. Very, very wonderful to do so. But one of my favorite teachers was you for sure, because it was just like, I never had a horrible time or a horrible experience like under you as a teacher. But also, I always feel like I could always speak to you like you're like a friend too. And like I really do cherish you as a teacher, a mentor, and as a friend too.
That's really sweet. Thank you, T.
Yeah, sure. It's no problem. You got any other last words that you had to let the audience know before we go out?
No, just I think I would echo what you say. Treat others well. Mm-hmm. I have a little story for that.
You're free to
when you said that you shouldn't view people as vehicles to get to your own destination, I have a story that I think is a fun story for that.
Go ahead.
A few years ago, I had some friends from Germany that we got to know through actually Mrs. Mills and her husband, who works at Siemens. And there was a story that was going around of one of the guys that we knew, Felix, and he was driving his car. And he had some of the other guys in the car, and they were going in traffic, and they were getting ready to have to merge. Their lane was ending, and they were saying, "Felix, you're going to want to get over now. You're going to get over." He's like, "No, I'll get over when the line, and nobody waits till the line ends and merges over because nobody lets you in.
No one ever does. Like, that's really, that's one of the scary moments. Like, well, nobody let me in, please. I don't want to crash my car.
Yeah, so here's the hack for that. What Felix did, he rolled his window down, he stuck his head out, and he waved at the person. And they let him in. Oh. And when they said, how did you do that? And he's like, it is much easier to hit a bumper than it is to hit a face. So you just got to remember that everyone around you is a person.
That's a really good. I didn't know where that story was going at first. I'm like, wow, car, Germans. So what's going on with this one? But it's like, yeah, that's a wonderful story, Miss SinClair. Mama English right there, more dropping more lessons every day. For surely. Maybe I'd like to get Mr. SinClair on for sure, because I know my class, I think we kind of driven him a little bit crazy sometimes. It's just like,
he definitely had, I don't know if it was just your class. I think that sophomore year is a hard year for everyone involved. Yeah. I think that, but Hugh definitely, I know that you guys used to call him the Hulk because he was very like Bruce Banner, and then all of a sudden he would just explode.
No, I think that was Mr. Hill. I think that was Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill. But Mr. Hill was like, he was pretty... he just was a big personality anyway. He was pretty explosive, I feel like, every day. Not in a bad way, but just like he was, buoyant and a lot. I feel like, I don't know. Mr. SinClair is a little more like volcano. Like he would be quiet, and then explode. Yeah.
I guess he carries after Edward Norton's take on the
Exactly.
character for sure. But yeah, I do appreciate you for hopping on. I'm glad to even meet up with you today. Like, I swear, like, my day was just kind of grim. Like, in the morning, I'm like, I woke up late, whatever. But it's nice to actually talk to like someone from the past. It's just like, it just kind of brightens this up. It just feels like I'm in your class again. I really hope you found that rap for sure. I
have it. I do have it somewhere, and I will dig around for it, and I'll find it, and I will take a picture and send it to you.
Oh yes, most definitely. Yeah, that would be wonderful. But that's it for the Mental Threads podcast, episode 101. Miss SinClair, whoop, 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 and everything. 49 episodes away from reaching my goal. So it's like, yeah, thank you for hopping on. We were sewing in, and now we're sewing out. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.